say I have got the orientation right. I think I have, but I will wait for you lot to tell me. And if I haven't, I'm blooming well starting it again. I'm getting there, I'm getting there, I'm getting there. I'm in. Just need to settle myself in. Right, there we go. That's in place. Yep, my hair looks like I've spent the day on the field. Which I have, so that's okay. Let's pop this down. And whilst I'm waiting for people to arrive, I'm just going to do a little bit of prep that I haven't quite finished. So I just need to turn the temp down on my iron. It's beeping at me like everything else seems to beep these days. Can you be a bit further back? Ooh la. It's a little bit better. You can see a bit more. I'll move that there. Yeah, then you can see my ironing as well. That's good. Okay. So I haven't done my facing. I haven't put the interfacing on my facing, so I'm doing that. Lovely to see that today the view is fine. Yay, Nicole, thank you. Also, so much better because I can actually see the comments. Oh, it feels like it used to. Wonderful. I know, I'm so sorry for those of you that struggled on and tried to watch part one like this and ended up with neck ache. Needed the expertise and technical support of Sarova, I think. Just shows you how great they were. They did all of that stuff. Without them, it would have been a hilarious choke. Nowhere near as slick. Right, as we experienced last week. So I'm just making sure we're not too hot. And really, when you're ironing on interfacing, you shouldn't have steam on there. It doesn't need steam. Also, if you're wise, which I am not, but if you're wise, I also would put something protective on your ironing board, because otherwise you can end up with the sticky stuff all over your stuff. Oh, cut 2, repair, that's right. Suddenly panicked that I haven't done that right, but then no, there's only 2 back facing pieces. So another really clever thing that I've done, is I couldn't find the instructions, or rather I couldn't find the packet, the envelope for the pattern as I was getting ready this evening. And in order for, they don't print the instructions in the printout, you scan the QR code, which is on inside the instructions, and I couldn't find them. So I couldn't look at the instructions to remind myself. So I am a wee blind tonight. Ooh, you're in for a treat. But I'm gonna show how, once you get to a certain stage, I hope, with dressmaking, there's lots of various orders that you can do things in without it actually really mattering. So today, what we're gonna do, we're gonna sew at the side seams, then we're gonna put the centre back zip in, and we're gonna attach the facing. All in an hour, can we do it? Let's see. And I don't know if the instructions said that. Now, if anyone watching this is actually sewing along live with me, maybe you know whether the seam allowance on the neck is 1 centimetre or 1.5 centimetres. If anyone does know that, maybe you've sewn it before, or maybe you've printed out the instructions because you're clever and like me. Please do let me know. Who have I got watching live now? There's not many of you. Do you want to say hello? Right, that's done. That's done, that's done, that's done. I've already ironed that. There we go. The other thing that I want to do is change my thread. And I thought I'd do that with you, because of course it's such an exciting thing, watching thread changes. And the reason why is because I've treated myself to this. I didn't realise it came in a tin. I got it. Hi Vanessa. I didn't realise it came in a tin, but it does. I need to look at the ladies. Gutermann threads from 1930. These are the original Gutermann ladies buying thread, I assume. Anyway, how nice is that? Oh, I have never. Okay, I have never think about what I have had and the amount of sewing that I've done in the past. I have never treated myself to something like this. Probably because I had a fabric shop with threads and things, so I just thought, oh, I'll just get them from work. But my sewing room has never been as well equipped as it is now. Not that I have a sewing room, but you know what I mean. So I'm just going to select the black from my lovely tin. And I'm going to take off the stretchy black that I used up here and pop it in the machine. So just wanted to say before I get started, oh, what beeping is that? I think that's the washing machine. Thank you so much to those of you who commented and gave me feedback, both here and on Instagram, but also those of you who bought me a coffee. I was really touched by the support that I got, and it was really lovely because it means that, yes, this is something I can do this winter. This is going to help me, oh my goodness, with a bit of winter income, which is something I need at the moment, but also as a seasonal flower grower, but also it means that I can focus on this. So there's other things I could do perhaps to earn some money, but if I can earn enough money from this, then I will do more of these and I will be happier. So thank you to those of you who have supported me, and I will make sure that each sew along that I do, I will put a link to buy me a coffee below in the description box, and I'll also link to it from my Instagram page on my profile, and you can just give what you can afford. That is great, and that way more people can also get them rather than it being some kind of closed group. More people can watch it, which I love. So let's see where we got to. Let's recap on where we got to last week. Oh, something fell over. Oh, I just wanted to say, at the end of this sew along, what I'm going to do, I've got two exciting things. I have got the fabric in the kind of quilted puffer to show you that I've got down there, and also sew over it, it's Christmas! Sew over it, I've sent me some patterns which I asked for, and Rosie kindly sent me them, so I'm going to show you those because that will give you an indication of things that are to come, ideas that I have. So I'm thinking, so I've done all of that. So that was the front. We got to this point. It's hard to see, isn't it? But this is the front. We've got the bust starts. We got the seam in the center. This is where it's going. We've got the back pieces exactly the same. So I have overlocked those edges together and I pressed them up, and I've overlocked the center back seam, being careful not to shave off any of your seam allowance. So and now I'm gonna pin together this the side seams. So I'm gonna lay my dress front right sides up there, and then I'm gonna take the back pieces and I'm gonna pin them one side at a time. So when I do this, I'm always thinking of how I'm gonna have it on the sewing machine, and therefore thinking about how I want it pinned. So ideally you want all your fabric off to the side, your pins horizontally so you can take them out easily, and I'm left-handed so mine always go that way, but if you're right-handed you might put them the other way. A beep, a beep. Shh, washing machine. It's like, leave me alone. And yes, so and then when I come to pin the other side, I'll pin it from the front so that the fabric will all be from that side. So you'll see when I do it. So as we're working our way down, I always start at the top of the garment and pin downwards. That's always kind of how I have been taught. And you want to line up the notch that you've got there in the back bodice with the stitching of the dart. And then, very, very important, is we want to make sure we line up, and I always peel it back in order to do this, we line up those waist seams. So I'm peeling them back and making sure the seam is really lined up well, and then I'm pinning. A pinny pin pin, and I'm going to put a pin just above it as well, because around this area I really don't want things to move, because that would mean that things don't align. What have I done here? Done some shoddy ironing. Let's just quickly iron that out. What happened there? I ironed a crease in. So then as we come down into the skirt, we have got another little notchy wotchy down there that should line up, so with the side seams. There shouldn't be too much stretching here on these side seams. It's not like they're massively on the bias or anything. They obviously got some shape in them. They're not dead on the straight grain. So the straight grain generally goes down the centre back of a garment. So, and that's where the zip goes in this dress. Not in all dresses, obviously. Okay. I've put less in there because I feel like that's easier for me. I've put more here because there's more to line up in that short bit. So that's what I'm saying. So I've pinned that and then I'm flipping him to the other side. So I'm now working from the front and I'm going to lay the back right side up and place the front right sides together over it. And that way I'll be able to pin from this side so that all this fabric will be off the left. This is the plan. Oh, we've got a few more people joining now. Does anyone want to feel brave and say hello? I think I can read it now. Where are we joining from? That's what I always used to love asking. So just coming to this notch, lining that up with the bust start stitching. Always used to love asking where people were joining us from. If we've got an international sew-along crowd today, or are we just national, and where in the UK are we? Always lovely to find out. So seam to seam there, seam to seam there, pop in a little pin just above it just to make sure it doesn't move. Did actually have a glass of wine somewhere. I've trapped myself in. I was going to drink a glass of wine tonight. So I've had a very long day on the field for Jazzy Rose Flowers today, planting tulips. We've, Tulip Tuesday I called it. We planted 9,000 tulips today, and when I got to the field there was a lot of snow, like a lot of snow as in everything was covered in snow. It melted very quickly, but yeah, fortunately we were in the polytunnel. Oh, hi Nicole, greetings from Germany. Hello in Germany. Hello, hello, hello. Thank you Nicole for just... Derbyshire, hi Vanessa. Did you have snow up in Derbyshire? I'm sure you did. Mum sent me a photo of the garden in Yorkshire. Watching from over in the States, yay! Okay, I don't know what WV is. Not Wisconsin. Washington, no, that would be Washington State. What's WV? Hello in South Lancashire. Did you get snow in South Lancashire? And how? Hi in Netherlands. Oh, hi Chantal. No snow there. Ah, I was speaking to one of your countrymen yesterday. In the Mr. Tulip Man, as I call him. He came over from Holland and talked to me all about my tulips, how I'm meant to be planting them. So yeah, going back, I had no idea what WV is. West Virginia. Thank you. Okay, so we've pinned all of that now. So I'm going to sew that. I'm going to start with this side because I've got it. Seam allowance is 1.5 centimetres, so I'm lining up the edge. No snow in Newcastle. It was probably too cold then up there because it has to be, what, like 2 degrees or something usually for snow. So, sorry that you didn't get snow, but the frost is lovely, isn't it? It makes it look so pretty. So we're lining up with the 5/8 of an inch, 1.5 centimetres, and then coming along here. Now I am not going to overlock anything tonight because what I'm going to do after our session is I'm going to try on for fit. Now I'm very lucky that usually generally a 10 fits me. And I think I talked about this last time that my hip, because of my curvy bum, it is probably going to be a bit snug on their 10. So I looked at their finished garment measurements, and it's really, really helpful to see that. I have to see the body measurements and the finished garment measurements, because then I can see what the ease is in between. Oh, hello in Kentucky. Oh, hi. Because then I can see what the ease is. Now, typically, a dress would have ease from about 2 inches unless it was very tight fitted. So I think when we made the pencil skirt, which was a really fitted pencil skirt, the ease at the hip was about 1 inch because it's really fitted. And the same when we made something waisted like the Betty dress that was waisted, that had an ease of 1 inch on the waist. So we are on this, of course, because I can't remember because I was looking at this. I remember seeing what the ease was and thinking, there's not that much ease. I think the size 10 was, the finished garment measurements were around 40 inches. And I was like, well, if my bum's around 39, that's about 1 inch of ease. So that could mean that it doesn't hang nicely. It gets stuck or stuff. And then, you know, things get stuck and then they create a little pocket above your bottom because they're not settling properly. So, yeah, I'm going to take the seam allowance at the hip point, which I'm doing roughly by eye here. I'm going to take it out to 1 centimetre, just to give me a little bit more room. I can always bring it back in. I doubt though this dress would matter if I've got a little bit. I'm only creating 1 centimetre. By taking it 1 centimetre rather than 1.5 centimetres, I'm giving myself an extra centimetre on either side. So almost an extra inch, but not quite. And then I'm just going to gradually, so where we are, we're past the bottom area. I'm gradually coming out. Now, obviously, the most precise way to do this would be to measure down and work out the widest part of your hip. So where your hip is. Now, so on me, it's not so much my hips that are wide, it's that my bottom sticks out. So for me, it's very important that I stand sideways when I put a tape measure round, or a ribbon ideally around that and tie that so it holds. And then from my waist, I go down and then I see what is that point where it's most protruding. So the ribbon marks the most protruding circumference, and then the tape measure measures from the waist down, and then you can translate that to your garment. So you're going from the waist of the garment down that measurement, and so then you know, right, that's the widest part. So it's at that point that I need to make sure I've got enough room. Sometimes though, it's because, you know, I wouldn't do it by eye if it was something more fitted, or if the ease was any less. Oh, gosh. Another thing is beeping at me. Are you like, I think I moaned about this beeping last time, but you know when you get in your car and it's just like all these modern cars now, it's like cardiac arrest. I get panicky, and I've never been a very good parker, but I get panicky that I'm about to go into something because it over eggs the pudding and it beeps far too early, it's so sensitive. Oh, you're making a weekend bag for your daughter for Christmas. Oh, lovely. So you're doing some sewing whilst you're watching it. Oh, the weekend bag's great. Really want to make that in leather, but I don't think you'd have to back it because it would just stretch. Moving on to the other side, starting up at the underarm seam, 1.5 centimetre seam allowance. Yeah, I remember that people like to watch the sew-alongs and sew, have it on in the background, but maybe you're not actually sewing this particular garment, but you're just sewing in company, which is always really nice because sewing can be quite lonely, can't it? Sometimes that's why we like it, but sometimes it's nice to have company when you're sewing. Okay, so I'm just checking and making sure that my seams are pressed upwards, and I'm just at that seam. So I've taken that pin out that was just above the seam, and now I am holding down that seam allowance to make sure it really doesn't budge, and I'm going to take out the pin at the last minute. So I want my seams to be matchy. Thank you very much. Okay, and now I am coming up to my hip point again. So I'm measuring it actually from where the dart is. So I'm now just going to come out by up to 1 centimetre to give myself a little bit more room there. coming back out to 1.5 cm. Sorry, I didn't say that's what I was doing. That's what I'm doing. And there we go. Now, I'm not actually going to press that because I want to check it for fit. So if I want to check it for fit, so I don't want to press in a crease yet. So I'm not going to press it now. Instead, we're going to go on to getting the zip ready. I had a bit of a panic actually. No, it's fine. I just suddenly thought, are my zip feet in there? They are. So we're going to put the zip in. And I am going to make a judgment on the seam allowance at the neckline that it's 1 centimetre. So if you're watching this with the instructions and you're like, Lisa, no it's not, please do say, but obviously if it's not live, it's too late, but just check. I don't want you to follow me blindly. I mean, it won't matter, it will just make it slightly higher if it's not meant to be. So, but typically necklines are 1 centimetre. Because they're curved, it's easier to follow that line. And if they're not, you have to trim it down anyway. Right, I don't know why I'm cutting that, I need the zip. Did I put the zip on the table? Oh no, put it down here. Just a second, let's try not to, yeah, there we go. Try not to end up in A&E there with an iron on my head. Right, opening Mr. Zip. So concealed zip. So I'm actually going to use, so ideally there is a notch on the centre back that we're going down to as a pair of notches. So that's where the zip should go to. And they asked for a 23 centimetre zip. Now I think, oh, I have one. I do have the right zip measurement, so that's good. This is all that I had in my box, but I'm glad that that's the right measurement. I'm also, so our seam allowance is 1.5 centimetres, which you can do by eye. And if you can't do by eye, what you need to do is you need to, where your teeth are, you need to measure with the tape measure to the edge of the centre back and check. And then hopefully you can keep that. But you can always just have a tape measure around your neck, which I should have, but didn't, and keep referencing. So you've got to make sure that your position is the right distance from the edge there, which should be finished already. So you should have zigzagged that or overlocked it. And then we need to make sure the top of the zip, this point here, there, is 1 centimetre down. Easier said than done. Okay. We're on a roll. We're on a roll. We're winning. So I am pinning the zip face down. So if I lie it like that, can you see? It's not helpful that it's a black zip, is it? But I'm afraid I'm not that much of a martyr that I would be prepared to choose a bright coloured white zip so you could see it, and then I'd have that potentially peeking through. So sorry that you can't see it, but the zip is face down, so the zip pull is facing down, and then the fabric is right side up. And then we are just pinning it in place. Now some people will then go on and hand tack their zips in place. I machine tack it before I then go in closer. And I'm also going to show you how to make sure you get your zip lines lining up at the waist seam. Or rather, your waist seam's lining up at the zip centre back. You know what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I'm very excited. I thought it'd be fun to open the patterns from Sew It with you, because I can't quite remember, even though I only asked them the other day for them. I've already forgotten what I asked for. But I'm thinking about the fabric that I've got, and like things that would work nicely on a sew along or be interesting for you. Thinking about outfits, whole outfit combinations I want to make. I have thought though I was going to get a Jessie Coatigan and I haven't got that, so I'm gonna have to be like, can I get one of those 10 actually. I'm going in to sew over it to film something for them for Stitch School this week, so I might be having to put a few patterns in my bag. Bless them. So, right, okay. So that is pinned all the way down, nice and neat. Da, 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 da. Kept the same distance all the way down. So we're going to now put a foot on. On my machine, I put the single arm zip foot on, and I move the needle. So I have the Benina 140, Activa 140. So popping that to one side, and you can use a machine tacking stitch for this. If you're going to take it out, but if like me you won't bother taking it out, just put regular stitch in, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so I'm just putting a pin in then just to keep it at the top from curling in. So what can happen right at the top with the zip tape, it can kind of curl in, so I didn't want that to happen on the neckline. Another thing that you could do as well in terms of fit is you could machine tack the whole of the zip in and check the fit. I am taking this for the team in that I would do that if I wasn't trying to keep things, you know, going along for you. But, there's something weird there. Why are you sewing funnily? Something a bit off with my tension. It's not a happy bunny. Well, we soldier on. I think maybe my machine needle needs changing. Anyway, we carry on. Just check what yeah, it was fine there. What it's not happy about. What was I talking about? Yes, trying on. I would try it on now. Machine tack this in, try it on, and then at least you're not having to painfully unpick the zip if you need to take that in as well. But I'm assuming that it will fit fine down the centre back, and it will just be the side seams that will need altering if anything. But as Julie said, Julie, who used to work with, you know Julie, if you follow Sew Over It, Julie used to say that assumption is the mother of all F-ups. So true in sewing and life. Right, down to that notch is actually not quite right. It's not quite far enough, is it? I'm going down to the bottom of the zip anyway. Typically, a zip, what you need from the waist, you need a 9 inches. That's what typically you need. Now, obviously, if you've got a very tight fitting skirt, you might, and you've got quite a snug kind of fit there on the bum area, then you might sometimes need a longer zip, but typically 9 inches from the waist is all you need, which I believe is 23 centimeters. Is it? Can't do that maths, but yeah. Okay, so I've just put a horizontal pin in there just to hold it. That's done. So then we're going to take this one off. I'm going to put the concealed zip foot on, which looks like this, with the little channels. And what happens with those channels is they feed the teeth of the zip, concealed zip through. And I've got a channel on either side of the zip, so you just choose the appropriate channel based on which sided zip you're doing. On my machine, I put the needle back into the middle position. And if you had been doing a machine tacking stitch, you would change it back to a stitch length that sometimes with this gets a little bit caught. Don't be annoying. I'm going to just increase the stitch length because it's struggling. I can hear it. Can you hear that? Yeah, I can hear that it's not stitching properly. We're coming out. Oh, now it is. It wasn't there. I could hear that it was doing that. Just realised I've got blue thread underneath. Oops. Didn't know that. That's what happens when you sew at this time of year. I I have got this light though here that's helping show so that close-ups are brighter, but it's not really helping me. Right, so if you did that, oh look, I've taken the blooming foot off. If you did that, then like me, don't worry about reversing again. Just go back a bit so you're overlapping your stitching and carry on. I think my needle definitely needs changing, but I have no idea where my needles are. I shall find them for next time. Unless we come up to a crisis. Still sewing, okay. Don't like it though. It's funny, like a machine, I was thinking about this the other day, a machine that's making a bad noise upsets me in the same way that Jasmine, when she's moaning or, you know, tired and irritable, and I'm tired and irritable, and it's that like, oh, it's annoying me. Sounds awful. And the neckline, I would assume 1.5 centimetres. Oh, you have come in just in time. Thank you. Wow, well, we're going 1.5. I can't because I've done the top of my thing. I'm going to have to stick with my guns. For anyone else watching it, 1.5 centimetres. Sorry about that. Thank you for clarifying. The other sewing along you're watching is obviously more prepared, more detailed. I need to make sure the next time I sew a pattern that I'm not familiar with their seam allowances. I do have it confirmed. I just thought that I'd be able to look at it before, so anyway, never mind. So I'm just doing a little bit of a pull here. You'll see this hand here, it's just holding that and pulling it back because it is struggling to feed it through. It's a bit of a snug fit in that presser foot there. So I'm just, yeah. And then we're going to go as far as it will allow us, which is why ideally you always get a zip that's slightly longer than what you need. A reversey-worsey, pulley outy. Let's just trim that off. Trim that off. Nice. Can't really see then. So this is now the trick to make sure your concealed zip lines up, is you close it, and then at the point where it hits the waist seam on the other side of the zip tote that you haven't sewn, you just snip into it so that you've got something to line up with. So we'll do that. And then we go on the other side, so we've got to kind of create a roll with the dress. Like so. And then make sure that the zip isn't twisted and it's face down again. And I always start with the waist seam at this point, because to me that's more important than the neckline, because the neckline I'm going to be putting a facing on there and I can kind of fudge it if I need to. But the waist, there's nothing else I'm going to do that would improve the lining up. So if it's not lining up, there ain't anything you can do to correct that. Okay. I'm going to sneeze. Hold up. Hold up. Excuse me. Oh, that was a loud one. Don't worry, Poppy. I know she hasn't, she's passed out. Is Dad calling me with Jazzy? I don't think they know this is what I'm doing today. Oops, daisies. Of course they wouldn't know, why would they know? I hate that, because then I'm like, oh, I hope she's not upset. I hope there's nothing. I hope she just wanted something random to tell me. And she'll still be awake afterwards. Get straight off this and give her a buzz. Okay, so Let's carry on pinning this. So again, I should have said my pins are going up towards the top, so in the direction, opposite direction that we're going to be sewing down, so that they're easy to remove. So we need to put the other zip foot back on. Move the needle over. So I'm coming up to the point where this the waist seam is. So I'm going to make sure my seam allowance is going up towards the bodice, and that it should be, but also that I'm really pinching it, sort of pinching it with that finger there, just to keep it in place. Obviously being aware that we don't want to sew over our finger, but just keeping it there so that we can keep that position that we aligned up with the pin. And some people don't like to, that they want to have that extra sense of security and hand stitch it, tack it in, and that's absolutely fine. And do whichever you prefer. Just lining this up, it's just moved a bit. Okay. Take that out. Put it back in. Put the needle back into the middle position. And now we're going to do the other line of stitching. I'm just going to cut these threads off because they're getting in the way. How are we doing for time? 30. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. Oh no, I've put the wrong bloody foot on. Oh. Put the regular foot on rather than the non-regular. Rather than the concealed zip foot. Right, on this side we're going in the other channel. So the opposite of what we've just done. Oopsie. And I'm just trying to open this zip. It's trying to roll back on itself, which I'm not happy about. There we go, I've caught it. Snatched you. Got you in the little catch, Mr. Zip. Oh, what is that noise? Doesn't like the start, does it? It's into a little tizzy at the beginning, and then it sorts itself out. Make sure that's just... There we go. So I you may have seen on my Instagram that I went to look at a venue in London, a little community centre up in Walthamstow, to start a little sewing club on a Friday, which I know is very frustrating, especially if you're in the States. You won't be able to come to that. But the idea was that I'd have a fun Friday sew along from there, because Fridays I'm in London because I take Jazzy to school there and pick her up, so I hang out in London. So that would give me something to do in the day. So I thought if I hired the space so that I could do a sew along first, so then everyone can watch it and join in, and we'd make it something simple rather than like making a dress in 3 parts. I'd do a kind of one-off thing, I think, just something a bit light, something to help us get back into our sojo, that sort of thing. So I'm going to scour for really simple patterns. So it'd be things like t-shirts and simple skirts and you know, that sort of thing. Maybe some bags. And then after that, I'll hire space for 2 hours, and we'll have a Friday kind of sew club. So I was thinking I would bring the, I'll probably bring my overlocker because I can drive there. There's a car park right nearby, but if you don't drive, you can just put your sewing machine into a hard carry case. I've done that before, just when I've gone to a friend's, like with the train, with my sewing machine. So like a city break case. I'll have irons. I'll bring a couple of ironing boards and irons and extension leads. I'll bring a kettle so we can make tea, because we have to have tea when we sew, don't we? I'll bring some bickies. We'll just have a nice little chat and sew together, and obviously I'll be there to help you with your sewing if you get stuck. So this I'm hoping to start from January. It won't be like you have to book loads of, you can just book one. I'll put the dates up at a time, maybe a month's worth of dates up at a time. So you can choose just to come to one of them. You can choose to come every week or whatever. There's no commitment needed. What is going on now? Oh, we're now on to red thread. That's hilarious. Oh, it's the bobbin has changed. Right. Let's change the bobbin. So yes, you can, and then yeah, and I'm going to charge £30, which isn't, I'm hoping is affordable for most. I've managed to, that will help, you know, make it worth my time and also cover the cost of the room. And there'll only, I think, be room for 10 of us at a time, or maybe 10 plus me. So yeah, anyway. I'll obviously talk to you guys about it in sew-alongs and on Instagram. So just make sure you're following me on Instagram at Lisa Comfort. We're not going to get the facing done, are we? We're not going to get it done. Well, next week we'll have the hem frill to do, which I think we should do because that is very much of this dress. So the hem frill, I don't know if I'm going to do a sleeve frill, but if I am, I wouldn't do that because it will be similar. I won't do that with you. And what else? And then inserting the sleeve, ideally, at least one of them. And then we've pretty much done the whole dress, haven't we? But yeah, so I'm going to start the facing tonight. I don't know I'm going to finish it, but I'll start it with you and then I'll finish it myself. And so if you're following this, you can do that by yourself as well. And then we'll catch up together. What is it? Where was I? There we go. Right, I'm just going to trim off this ridiculous bit of thread. It is loopy and messy. I don't know if you're commenting and chatting and I'm not really seeing it. Sorry if you are. Sorry. Okay, right, let's go back. So we're going to overlap a little bit. If that happens to you, you want to overlap a little bit. Oh no, we're keeping that in the middle. So that it's going to secure where you are. Up and down. There we go, as far as I could go. Let's trim those off, and don't forget, if you have started and stopped, that you trim your thread at that point, because that's just going to get in the way. Let's trim it off there. And let's have a look at how it goes. Ooh, yay! There we go. A concealed zip. Lovely. All lined up and stuff. Right, so I'm not going to press that yet because I want to try it on. I do need to close off the centre back as well, but again, I'll probably just do that by myself. So if you're doing the centre back, you're going to place that together and then work from the hem upwards so that you're going up to the nice join there. Or some people leave that, they pin from that way and go down and then come back and do that little bit there. But you probably will find that you're going to need to put your skinny zip foot your skinny zip foot on, and so that you can come up close to where, like that. Okay. In another sew along we'll do that, but we won't with this one. So facing, oh, we can't do the facing, we haven't done the shoulder seams. Right, let's do the shoulder seams quickly. Really, they need to be overlocked as well. So I'm just placing my shoulders right sides together. We've got our little shoulder dart at the back there. Need to get in there. And then the same here. What I'm going to do, I don't want to botch this for myself. I'm going to sew these. I'm going to then sew that together, the facing, and I'm going to pin it on and show you that. But I'm not actually going to stitch it on with you, because then I can pin it and do all my overlocking. Put your regular zip back, regular foot back on. Okay. Okay, so shoulder seams are done. There's a lot of threads coming off, making it messy, which I absolutely hate, but never mind. Don't know why that's happening. I feel like I've trimmed them as I've gone, but for whatever reason, they have decided to be unruly, and it's got very thready. Right, I'm going to unzip that, so that we've got a dress, by the way, guys. We've got a dress. Ah, from Kentucky, flying from. So we've got someone joining the sew club on the Friday. She's flown in from Kentucky. She's come for the 2-hour session, and she's going to fly all the way back. Well, join in on the sew along online instead. Yes, that would be really nice. Oopsie. Kentucky. What time are you on there? So I'm just taking these right sides together, placing them lining up. So the centre back, make sure you know what the centre back edge of your facing is. Usually that's the straightest, and they've got a slight, almost perpendicular edge because it's going down the centre back. So at the top it's usually perpendicular at that point here, creating a little right angle. There you go. Anyway, so that's those two. And then we're going to stitch that together. So that's 1.5 centimetre seam allowance. Oh, that's a shame. There's much more quilting there. Well, there is more quilting in the US, I know that. Okay, so we've trimmed that. Voila, trimmed those off. So I've just joined that. There's my facing. So I'm just going to press those seams open. I know they're not overlocked, but we're going to do that. I'm going to do that later by myself. Of course it's cut out. Oh, the blooming safety rules. It doesn't. I've got to wait for it to warm up. talk amongst yourselves. Hi, Coco. Hi, Coco. You come up here. She's gonna come say hi. Someone in Buenos Aires joining us. Wow, hello. Oh yeah, Coco, here. Come here. No, not on that. Not on that. Come here. Come say hi to everyone. This is my cat, Coco. She used to love the sewalongs. You gonna go on here, darling? Yeah? You're just gonna be annoying and stand in the middle of the camera. Hmm? Right, I'll press those open. So now we're gonna pin that to here. So I've put the dress right, no, okay, that's not okay. Coco, go up there. Up, up, good girl. So I've pinned the dress. Sorry, I'm distracted by Coco. She's now lying like a lioness on the ironing board. I've put the dress right sides round, turned it the right way round, and I am going to make sure that I fold back the seam allowance at the centre back on the facing, and then pin that, line that up and pin that to the neckline of the dress. Then I'm going to, these would be overlocked and pressed open, these shoulder seams ideally, or pressed over, and actually I'll do them towards the back. Overlock together and press towards the back. So I'm going to just pin those in position there. You basically don't want your seam allowances on your facing to do the same thing as your seam allowances on your shoulder seams, because if you overlock them together or zigzag them together, press them towards the back, then you're going to have 4 layers of cloth, and it'll be bulky at that point and probably a bit uncomfortable. So pressing open, or press at least the facing ones open. So I'm going to stop. I'm going to come over to the other side, and I'm going to line up that shoulder seam on this side. And then folding that back like that, pop it in, and then I'm going to go back and fill it in here. Okay, like that. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there for tonight because I don't want to sew this. So I'm going to sew this by myself, and I'm going to then overlock the bottom edges of that. I'm going to make sure I overlock those shoulder seams and the side seams of the facing, and then tuck all of that in. I probably don't do any hand finishing, and I'll finish the back there as well. So I'll get to that stage for next week, and then we'll do the sleeves together and the hem frill. And I'm going to look at the instructions, and if not, I'm going to email Josie and be like, I'm sorry, Josie, I've lost the packet. I don't know where the instructions are. Can you email them to me? Right. So, well, now I can show you the exciting things. Not that this wasn't exciting. The fabric. So I said that she sent me the puffer fabric as well. I keep calling it puffer fabric. Quilted fabric. How amazing is this? Oh, I love it, I love it, I love it. So I want to make a cute little kind of bomber jacket, I think, out of it. But I don't have a bomber jacket pattern. I did speak to Sew Over It about Amelia, whether I should do Amelia, but we decided that we weren't sure if that's the right thing to do. So I'm going to look for a bomber jacket. And if anyone knows of a good bomber jacket kind of that would work well for this, please do let me know. But yeah, it's just gorgeous. So I've got that. That was, I think I said that I was going to show you that last week. That's why I'm showing it. And then let's look at these patterns together. Oops. See what I asked for. Okay, yes. Vintage shirt dress. So, ages ago, I did a vintage shirt dress hack in one of my magazines. And I want to do a new one, an updated one, because I have this tartan black watch cotton. If you've seen my fabric hauls on my Instagram, you'll see that, the one I'm talking about. That I ordered I thought I was ordering something that would make trousers, and it's not. So I've got this, and this is basically, I want to make a shirt out of it, but I don't want it to be fitted, but I like the collar detail on the vintage shirt dress. So yeah, I'm going to try and make this, I think. Either this or I'll make a Jodie. But then I just thought, if I made a Jodie, well, we've all got Jodies and there's nothing new there. So I thought about that. Then, Alice top. I don't think I can get it. Do you remember the Alice top? She's a bit of a blast from the past. So she is quite sexy. She's a jersey top, but she's quite low cut. She's a bit too low cut for me now because my boobs are a bit bigger nowadays. And I think there'd be a bit too much cleavage. So I'm going to bring it up a little bit. But I've got a really nice stripy fabric that I really want to make out of that. So I'm going to do a sew along for this. Obviously I'm going to do a sew along for all of these. I won't be doing any of this without you guys. Lana skirt. So this is the sew along skirt. I don't actually literally called the sew along skirt. I might do this with you, even though I don't know if they've got instructions now for it. They probably have. Maybe they will have. We used to do the sew along skirt was basically just something I made up, I think, in lockdown. I just told you to measure it and do negative ease or something, I can't remember. Anyway, we made a pattern, we then released it, but the instructions were that you would follow it from the sew along, and there were never written instructions. Anyway, I want to make a cord set, so I want to make a little sweatshirt that I don't have a pattern for, so I think I might... I don't know what I'll do about that. I guess I need to find a sweatshirt that I like, or I might adapt one of the sewed ones. Then, she sent me the Carly top and dress, which is their new pattern. That Rosie was wearing it. I was like, hello, good looking. I love that. So I'm seeing myself in a Carly top in a navy, tucked in with some jeans and a nice leather belt. So I'm thinking about that. But also, Alma had one out in fleece that was oversized. I think Rosie's done a sew-along thing about it. So anyway, I might do that. Ultimate t-shirt. I don't remember asking for that. Oh, no, I know why. Bless them. Because it's the roll neck add-on. So I was like, oh, you've got a roll neck. I really want to do that. That would be great for me on the field. So that would be a nice quickie, one we could do together on a Friday. So, yeah. And then they have sent me an Amelia jacket because I really want to make one. I don't know what colour yet, but I really want to make an Amelia jacket. And I really want to make one with a little cute fur collar, or a boucle collar or something contrasting that I once saw years ago on someone else's done. Okay. And then a molly top. So I've got some really nice cable knit and I want to make a molly top dress. So I think the simple patterns here that we could make on a Friday, so in January, the ultimate, so the roll, I think we could do the roll neck and the molly top definitely. And we've done those before, but well, we haven't done the roll neck, but I'll probably have done the molly top, but what the hell, let's do it again. But yes, I'm not sure, and the Lana skirt, definitely could do that again. Although I want to do that sooner, so anyway. That's what I'm going to be sewing, potentially, and more. So many ideas. Yeah, really excited. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you followed that okay and found it helpful and also interesting. I'll be back next Tuesday to finish it off, and I'll also start talking about some other times that I'm going to do some other sew-alongs. So after that next week, I won't be able to do them on Tuesday nights because I'll be doing wreath workshops. So I won't be doing them until the new year in the evenings again. However, I'll be doing them in daytime instead. Oops. So, yes, stay tuned. I'll talk about it on Instagram and I'll talk about it here next week as well. Please do show your love with buying me a coffee. I'll put a link into it in the description box below. Just, yeah, like I said, this is now providing me with some income for the winter. So please give what you can if you enjoyed it. And yeah, I'll see you next week. Bye.